TFA fam, what's up? What's going on? Matty D back with another edition of wide receiver cornerback matchups for week 8. Already almost halfway through the season. Can't believe we have made it almost halfway through. Feels like it's been a blur. A lot of injuries this year. A lot of interesting things happening across the NFL. Lots of busts in fantasy, especially at the running back position. Some high end wide receivers that we haven't seen really do what they're supposed to do. But you know what? That's what this segment is here for, to try to help you guys on a weekly basis find some wide receivers in that wide receiver 3 or flex spot for you to play. So moving on to week 8, we are going with the wide receiver 1 in Philadelphia. I'm expecting a monster game finally from Devontae Smith. We've seen Ja'Marr Chase all year have big games over in Cincinnati. I am expecting a breakout from the fellow rookie Devontae Smith here in this game against Detroit. He's getting 7.5 targets a game, seeing over 100 air yards a game. He's getting 23% of the target share, 38% of the air yards. I know the Eagles don't throw a ton, but Devontae Smith is due, and he's still getting 7.5 targets a game. So the volume is there, and he gets a great matchup with Jerry Jacobs on the other side for the majority of this game. Jacobs has allowed 14 of 19 passes at him to be caught for 73% completion percentage, allowing 13 yards per catch, 1 touchdown, and a 121 passer rating. So again, I'm expecting a big offensive production out of Devontae Smith and this Eagles offense against Detroit. Moving on, next we have T. Higgins against the New York Jets. T actually leads the team in targets per game at 8.5. He's getting over 84 air yards per game. He's good for 27% of the targets and 31% of the air yards on the year. So while Ja'Marr Chase is showing out on a little bit less target volume, T. Higgins actually has been Burrow's most targeted wide receiver. He gets a matchup with Bryce Hall of the Jets on the other side, who has allowed 21 of 35 catches for 60% completion percentage, 13 yards per catch, 1 touchdown, and a 93 passer rating. We move on to Jerry Jeudy, somebody I know a lot of you guys are excited to have back this week, coming off of IR. He's ready to go after that ankle injury. That was a nasty ankle injury in week 1. He's been back practicing, and they said, they've already ruled him in a couple days before the game. It's not like he's a game time decision heading into this one to where you should be concerned about a snap share. They've already said he's ready to go, early in the week for this game on Sunday. So I'm expecting a normal workload for Jerry Jeudy. And he plays mainly slot, where he will be matching up against Kendall Fuller. But Jeudy in week 1, the only game that he's played so far this year, he led the team with 7 targets and had 83 air yards before exiting for an injury. That was good enough for 20% of the targets and 27% of the air yards. And we know that Washington has been a pass funnel defense. They don't let you run the ball, but they let you pass it all over them. And that's evidenced by, Aaron Jones last week for Green Bay had like 7 carries for 15 yards. So it was the Aaron Rodgers show to Devontae Adams last week against Washington. And that's been the story against the Washington defense all year, is throw the ball against them. So we mentioned Kendall Fuller is the matchup. He's seen a whopping 57 targets at him this year. He's allowed 41 to be caught for 72%, allowing 12 yards per catch, a 1 TD, and a 95 passer rating. So assuming Jerry Jeudy gets a full workload here, which he should, considering the early ruling in for Jeudy this week and not a game time decision, I'm expecting a normal workload and a good production here out of Jeudy. And our sit of the week is somebody who's been kind of hit or miss in the flex spot this year, or wide receiver 3, and that is Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley is a guy we want to play against zone coverage. Against man coverage, he has only seen 12% of his targets, as opposed to seeing 85% of his targets against zone coverage this year. He's also had 0.44 yards per route run against man and 2.24 yards per route run against zone. Well, the unfortunate thing is they're playing Miami this week, and Miami runs about 55% man and about 40% zone. So you're going to see a lot of man coverage out of Miami. So I'm only expecting a handful of targets to Cole Beasley. And he's a guy that relies on high volume and is not a home run hitter. So you need a high volume game against zone coverage for Cole Beasley to really have good production for you. And I just don't think that this is a game that he's going to be able to do that facing a heavy man coverage team in the Miami Dolphins. So that does it for us for week 8. You know the drill. Join the Discord, hop in, let's chat football, have some fun. Good luck in week 8.